I have a question for everyone, actually. It's visually stunning films, no doubt. My question is, what is your favourite prop from the films? Or it could be a costume, something you wore, something you saw. I'll start again with you, Nick.
I was very lucky working with a costume with Jenny, because I worked with her before on something else. So we sort of ever so slightly changed some of the ideas, and I got to be a punk version of Adamant. I mean, that was brilliant. Who doesn't want to do that? So it was the leather jacket and having a holster with a wand in it. That's pretty cool. Was anyone else have a holster? Rock. There you go. I had a holster. So that's it. My holster and leather jacket. I've come for my son. That was it. So it was Adamant in a sort of post-cyberpunk period.
I'm probably going to say what the majority of people here will say, but definitely having the wand, really. I mean, it's something that became very special because you were only ever given it just before you were to do a scene, and then they were taken swiftly off you straight away, so they didn't end up on eBay. So, you know, you felt very special when you had it, and yeah, just... and also the costumes as well. I mean, the immense amount of detail in these costumes that, you know, the movie-going audiences never really get to appreciate fully. But when you're wearing the costume, you feel like the character. They feel lived in these clothes, and they very much inform you of that character. And they did have a wand pocket as well inside. Not a holster, but, you know, a little wand pocket was inside every costume, so you always had somewhere to stow the wand. So, yeah, my wand is a definite favourite of mine, certainly.
I was going to say that.
Sorry.
I'd say maybe my broom, because it's a bit like the wand. It's specific to you, and mine was like really manky and it had loads of bits of purple in it, and I like that.
For me, at the end of Prisoner of Azkaban, when I say goodbye to Harry, I do two things. I fold up the Marauders map and I put all my stuff in my closet. And they weren't special effects, they were shot in camera, and the Marauders map folded up by a series of little invisible threads that happened on 2 or 3 takes, and I just thought the genius of someone who created that was, I thought summed up to me the creative aspects of the special effects designers on the film, that they didn't rely on it being a special effect, but they actually worked out a way of folding a map 8 ways by pulling little threads. So, thank you.
Unfortunately, I wasn't allowed to dress up or have a wand. I was in the portrait. I did have a costume, it's true, and it was lovely.
Mine would be the lion house, Luna's lion house, because I think that the best thing about playing Luna is that when you're wearing her clothes, they're kind of the clothes that no one would wear, you know, in their right mind. So you get out of yourself, you know, you're very free, and the lion hat was sort of that intensely, like, I can't care what anyone thinks of me, I'm wearing a lion on my head. And it was very light and deceptively light and comfortable, and I kept forgetting I was wearing it and people looking at me. I was like, what, you know? It was really fun. Yeah, I could take that home.
Well, I would have said the wand, but it feels very unoriginal now. But I had that lovely wand inside a cane, which had a very, very heavy snake head. In my very first scene, one of my favourites, which was cut, of course, as in many of my favourites, I smacked Tom very hard on the knuckles, but I'd just been handed it. I didn't quite have the weight of it right. I think it really did some damage, and this poor little toddler looked up at me, and I think he thought I was acting, and he had to react. And so instead of going, ow, can you not do that? And I cracked his knuckle very hard with it, and it was the beginning of a beautifully tortuous relationship between Draco and Lucius. But in fact, my favourite thing is the wig, because I'm a very lazy actor, and so every time I put it on, in order to keep it straight, they kept on telling me to tip my head back, because otherwise I was eating it all the time. And if I tipped my head back, I was looking down my nose at people, and there was an instant character, and I didn't have to do any work. So I quite like that.
Well, I only have got one pop, the wand, but the favourite thing to look at, which you never saw, was if you'd go upstairs, if there was a quiet moment in filming, they used to have this huge office, the art department, and the art department would design these tiny little models of all the set, and you could walk through this room, and the detail on the room was incredible, and you could actually lean down and look through the windows, and you could see sort of down staircases and through corridors, and they had the most extraordinary world up there. So, of the most beautiful objects that I came across on Harry Potter, that would be them.
Yeah, I'd like to confirm you were a little heavy-handed with the snake head thing, for sure, Jason. I've resented you ever since. Yeah, I've been holding it back, yeah. Obviously, the wands were really cool, and the broomsticks were kind of obvious. I really like my suit. Draco was not one for casual dressing, and he seemed to be in a black suit 24/7, even to bed, I think he wore it. So yeah, it was actually the first suit I ever had that fit me. So it was nice to have that. I felt very sharp in that, for sure.
Can I interrupt just really quickly? Forgive me. In a true Neville Longbottom moment, why is it always me? I really need the loo. Okay? So I'm going to say, mine's the Sword of Gryffindor, that's my favourite, and I'll be back by the time these people are finished. Is that alright?
Go, man.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same. The flying car.
Is this a...
Boys, they always go in pairs, don't they?
Speak very slowly. Like David Barron, I was in a portrait, no props, some clothes. I was a Puritan. I don't know what they were thinking. But in terms of, there are so many props and things on Harry Potter, but I suppose if I could take one away, it would be the Time Turner, which is just a thing of...
You did.
There are people from Warner Brothers here, David.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, but the Time Turner, for many, many reasons.
Well, I liked my wand, and I had some teeth, bad teeth. But I really can talk about a moment of liberation to do with my costume, because it was an irritating costume to wear. It was too long, and sometimes I would trip over it. And underneath, I started off wearing tights. And the gusset of the tights kept dropping down between my thighs. And this made it very difficult to walk with any kind of dignity. So eventually I said to my dresser, a lovely young man called Neil, I said, "You're going to have to cut these tights, and I'm going to have garters at the top." So I enjoyed then having this garter belt on each leg. And sometimes when the stunt team are getting too macho, I would tease them with my inner thigh.
People will never think of Voldemort in the same way.
You know he's got suspenders and garters on underneath. Brilliant. My favourite, well, David Heyman already stole my answer, so I'm going to steal maybe Michael's answer. I really would love to own a pensive. The idea of being able to walk around in other people's memories and understand how they came to be the way that they are or the person that they are, I think would be an incredible tool for the world as a whole. You know, it'd be amazing to walk around in Hitler's childhood and see what made him the way he is. And, you know, I just think coming to understand Snape was just such an amazing part of the last movie. And so, yeah, I'd like one of those.
I would actually probably pinch Hermione's bag, because Hermione's bag is this amazing thing. You can put anything in it. Absolutely.
Mary Poppins bag.
And it's an amazing bag. It holds lots and lots of things. And I'm travelling with my wife at the moment. And we're about to go to New York to the premiere in New York, and we have so much luggage. I would just tip it all into Hermione's bag, and it would make it so much easier.
Oh, well, I loved my costume. And particularly the padding, because it gave me the most fabulous shape with enormous bosoms. And it kept me really warm in winter and was rather absorbent in summer. So it was absolutely a little worrying at King's Cross with the pigeons, because it was made of birdseed, the bosoms. But apart from that, yeah, I loved it. That was my favourite.
Well, in the first episode of Potter, they explained to me that Hagrid wasn't actually, strictly speaking, allowed to do magic, because he kind of failed the exam in 1842 or something. In fact, it probably was in 1842. So they said, well, you can use this, and I'm supposed to be playing an 8'6" giant. They gave me a pink umbrella, which Audrey Hepburn could have been carrying in 1952, you know, about this size. And I lit the fire and put the pigtail in the wee bum bum. And that was my favourite thing. And I didn't see it for years until, remember when we were in New York, near the exhibition in New York, there it was. I'm thinking, my dear old pink umbrella.
Yeah.
And they made a model of me with this, it was 8'6" guy with an umbrella. It's a nice bit of irony, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
You think you'd have something that looked like stainless steel.
Yes.
You know, Chihuahua, bite this bitch.
Yeah.
Or something. But there you go. That would be my favourite prop.
Well, I had the usual props one, but I had a little bag I made myself at a belt to keep my fags and lighter in under my costume for the quick nip out for a fag. And I also had a very long white beard, which I would have my sausage and chips for lunch. And then she wouldn't take the beard off, which annoyed me. So I used to feed chips into it. I'd feed fried chips into my beard to annoy the makeup department.
I remember that.
My main memory.
The other thing you did, which I'd like to tell the public about, is you parked your Cadillac outside my trailer so I couldn't open the door. Your Ferrari, because we're both car men, right? And I said, I can't quite open my door properly. Michael said, that's because I brought my Ferrari in to humiliate you. Remember that?
Stay in your trailer.
First of all, fellow cast and crew members, gathered journalists, and indeed the world, I apologise for my lubric there. I was very desperate. Yeah, my favourite thing, the Sword of Gryffindor, I think, because it's Neville, really. I mean, everyone wondered why he was in Gryffindor from the very beginning. You know, they didn't think that he was going to amount to anything, but only a true Gryffindor can pull that out of the hat. And it's a sword, so it's just really cool. I felt like a Jedi for a bit, and I always wanted to be that when I was younger. So, yeah, definitely the Sword of Gryffindor.
For me, for my character, it's really important. Brought Ginny into the arena and into Voldemort was Tom Riddle's diary. And it probably, in terms of the storyline now, at least I was a part of destroying one Horcrux, so that was good.
As many props as were in the Weasley Wizarding Wheezers shop, and there's thousands of them, it's an incredible set. My favourite prop would be my dyed ginger hair for 10 years, because it gives you a completely new perception on the world and how people view you. In a good way. But it got you really into the character, and kind of your friends knew when you were filming again. So I'm going to go with the ginger hair, and it made us part of the Weasley gang. So that was pretty cool to be a part of.
I'm going to strongly disagree with my brother there, saying that's my favourite part of the whole film. I'm going to be boring and say my wand, just because it's fantastic, really cool.
I want Mrs. Weasley's bodysuit as well. Can we go halves on that? I'll take it. I'm not telling you why. I love it.
And I think we can go back to the floor. There's a gentleman with a check shirt on the fourth row, if you'd like to go, sir, and then we'll come to the front.
Torbjörn Ek, Swedish newspaper Aftonbladet. A question for David Yates. You've been working very close with Jo on this film, where she was a producer. How much did she actually participate in making the film? Would you consider her a future film producer in other films? Or what else would you want her to do now the Harry Potter era is over?
Jo Rowling is an incredible partner in these films, obviously, and but she keeps a discreet distance. Ultimately, she signs off the screenplay, and if she has any issues, she communicates them and lets us know what she's happy with, what she's not happy with, and then she's there at the end of the telephone if we need her, basically, and then she'll watch the movie when it's finished. It's the perfect relationship for a group of filmmakers, because she's very enthusiastic about what we do. She always supports it. She's not very territorial about her world, in the sense that we take liberties often. We trim things out, we add things, and she always supports that. She understands the complexities of adaptation, and so it's a fantastic relationship. But she's not particularly hands-on, and she's not around all the time. We probably, in the making of one of these films, we'll probably see her 2 or 3 times, absolute tops, and that's usually at the beginning and end of the filmmaking process. But this is her world, you know, and we're interpreting it, and so she's she's there to guide us if we need it, and it's always nice to know that she's on the end of the phone, as it were.
This is a question for Fines. Maybe you can answer it for all your colleagues. As an actor, I could imagine it's easy, or you get used to how to handle a gun or a sword. But how long do you have to practice to use a magic wand that it looks sexy and different and cool?
I'm delighted you think so. Well, we had, Michael and I once, we had wand lessons, didn't we, Michael?
Yeah, we had 2 years of wand lessons.
We had special wand coaching. That was true in the first film that we did with David. He brought in a young man, a dancer, who taught us different wand action. Yeah. And it became imbued in us, I think.
Mine were a bit more camp than yours.
Yeah.
bit light.
Sometimes, then you address that.
Yeah. I've been outed.
When I first was discussing the part, I talked to the design department about creating a little hook, or like a bird's claw on the end, so it could rest in an open hand, which I quite liked.
Okay, and the last question, I think, in the front row here. Thank you.
It's a question for Rafe again. When you're creating what could be the ultimate movie villain, and your face is hidden beneath layers of prosthetics, how do you strike the balance between making it not too frightening so that you scare off the kids, but frightening enough so that you make an impact?
I rely on a great director. Seriously, I think for this, it's a high-definition villain. It demands, I think, a degree of sort of theatricality, if you like, and then also you want to find the balance of nuance and the sense of an inner life. And I have to say, I think that working with initially Mike Newell and with David, there were two great directors who helped me, I hope find the balance. You don't, and people say it's frightening, and if that's the case, that's great. I think he should be.